Rhizobium symbiotic bacteria. This is the root of a leguminous plant. Legumes include plants like beans, peas and soya beans. You will find that the roots of leguminous plants contain a swollen structure called as the root nodule. So these are all swollen structures on the root which are called as the root nodules. So these root nodules are found on the roots of the leguminous plants. You will find this root nodule, which is a swelling on the root of any leguminous plants, and this root nodule contains a bacteria, and the name of that bacteria is Rhizobium. This bacteria is capable of nitrogen fixation. Now what is nitrogen fixation? You must, if you try to recollect, we have already studied what is meant by nitrogen fixation. It is conversion of atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia, which is then assimilated into amino acids. Before moving on to the topic of rhizobium, let us study what is meant by symbiosis. Symbiosis comes from two Greek words which means with and living. Symbiosis is the interaction between two different living organisms which live in close association with each other. It is sometimes but not always beneficial to the different organisms which live in close connection with each other. Let us take the example of mutualism in symbiosis, where both the species benefit from each other's relationship. A very simple example of symbiosis is the relationship between the dogs and the human beings, where both of them enjoy a mutualistic symbiosis for centuries. So here, when I say mutualistic symbiosis, it means that the two organisms which live in close association with each other will benefit from each other's association. For example, the dogs and the human beings, the dogs supply protection and companionship to the human beings, and the humans in return provide food and shelter to the dog. Another example of symbiosis is seen between sea anemone and the clownfish. Both of them allow each other to flourish through this symbiotic relation. The sea anemone provides the clownfish with protection and shelter, whereas the clownfish provides the sea anemone nutrients in the form of waste. Also, the clownfish tries to scare off the other potential predator fishes, thereby protecting the sea anemone. Another classic example of symbiosis is the association between the algae and the fungi, which is called as a lichen. So this particular organism which you can see on the bark of a tree is called as a lichen. This is a fungus. It provides nutrients to the tree on which it is growing, and it also gives protection to the tree. In turn, the lichen gets sugar from the plant, that is, the tree provides it with food. So both are benefited from this relationship. So let us come back to the topic of rhizobium. If I want to see rhizobium bacteria under the microscope, then what should I do? So we need to carry out a simple experiment. For that we need to take a plantlet of fenugreek, that is methi, or groundnut, or any other bean or a legume, and sterilize that root with 3% to 5% solution of hydrogen peroxide. Sterilizing the rootlet means making the rootlet free from any kind of bacterial infection. Afterwards, keep the rootlet in a 70% solution of ethyl alcohol, and this should be done for about 4 to 5 hours. After keeping the rootlet in ethyl alcohol solution, now wash the roots with sterile water. Take a thin section of the root nodule, that is, you cut out a thin section of the root nodule and take a good section of the root, place that section of the root in a safranin solution for 2 to 3 minutes. Remove the root section place it on the glass slide, cover it with cover slip and observe it under compound microscope. What do we observe? We find pink colored rod shaped organisms. Here you can see the pink colored rod shaped organisms, and these are nothing but the Rhizobium bacteria. So as I said, the Rhizobium bacteria are found in the root nodules of leguminous plants. That means Rhizobium and the leguminous plants live in symbiotic association with each other. So this is another classic example of symbiosis, where both the species get benefit from each other's relationship. How? Here, the bacteria which are present in the root nodules help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. That is, the Rhizobium bacteria makes or it converts the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrites, nitrates and amino acids, and makes these nitrates, nitrites and amino acids available to the plants. On the other hand, Rhizobium receives nutrition from the plant in the form of organic acids. So this is a beneficial relationship called as symbiosis. See, the Rhizobium bacteria cannot grow independently. It requires a host. So who is the host here? The hosts are the leguminous plants like the beans, sweet pea, soya bean, etc. We know that beans and pulses are very rich in proteins because of the nitrogenous compounds which are made available during the process of nitrogen fixation, and this nitrogen is made available by the Rhizobium bacteria. The process of nitrogen fixation helps to increase the soil productivity and soil fertility also. So here in the diagram of a cutting of the root, you can see the Rhizobium bacteria entering into the root through the infection thread, and you can also see these Rhizobium bacteria which are now present in the root nodules, which will carry out the fixation of nitrogen in the root. We know that the leguminous plants are very important because these leguminous plants provide us with proteins. Now when the leguminous crops are harvested, that is when the leguminous plants are cut, then the stubble or the leftover roots and the other parts of the plants are deliberately left into the soil. This is to increase the bacterial population in the soil. So when Rhizobium is sufficiently present in the soil, the next plant lot which will grow in the soil will get ample amount of nitrogen for its proper growth. So what is the advantage? If the plant is getting sufficient amount of nitrogen for its growth, then that plant will not need any kind of chemical fertilizers. We know that chemical fertilizers are very harmful for plant growth, and also the chemical fertilizers reduce the fertility of the soil eventually. So as the plants are directly getting a supply of nitrogen from the Rhizobium bacteria, then the farmers have to depend upon the chemical fertilizers to a lesser extent. So the expenses on the fertilizers is reduced, which works to benefit of the farmers. Rhizobial inoculation. This is another technique which is getting popular these days. Here, cereal plants can also get a proper supply of nitrogen with the help of the Rhizobium bacteria. So cereals like rice, wheat, jawar, how is it possible for them to get a proper supply of nitrogen with the help of Rhizobium bacteria, where we know that the Rhizobium bacteria are present only in the leguminous plants? So for that, what is done is that the seeds of the cereal plants are coated with a rhizobial solution which is readily available in the market. Dry powder formulations are also applied, or it is also available in the market. So dry powder can also be coated on the seeds of the cereal plants, and rootlet of the plants can also be dipped in the liquid rhizobial solution, or dry powder of Rhizobium can be applied on the rootlet of the solution. So the seed can be planted into the soil or the rootlet of that plant can be planted in the soil. So what will happen is the rhizobium is present in the solution or in the powder which is coated on the seed or on the rootlet. So the rhizobium will directly gain an entry into the plantlet. And so what will the rhizobium do? Definitely it will help to supply nitrogen to the cereal crop plants, or it could be any other crop plants other than the leguminous plants. So this treatment of the seeds of the plants or the rootlets of the plants with the rhizobial solution or a dry powder formulation of the rhizobium is called as rhizobial inoculation. You can see the difference when the plantlet is not treated with the rhizobium solution or the rhizobium powder. You can see the growth of the plantlet, whereas when the seeds or maybe the rootlets are treated with the rhizobium powder or the solution, and you can see how well the growth of the plant has taken place. So this is the untreated plant, and this is the inoculated, that is a rhizobial inoculated plant, and see the wonderful growth of the plant that has taken place by rhizobial inoculation.